The exes who had to pretend to be married. They used to say Daniel and Maya were the couple that made love look easy, best friends since university, business partners in everything except paperwork, two people so perfect together that even strangers felt the chemistry. And then one morning 3 years ago, they ended. No fight, no cheating, no long explanation, just a text from Maya. "I can't do this anymore. Please don't call." Daniel read it 10 times. The girl he planned his whole life around walked away, quietly, completely, without a single chance for closure. He didn't beg. He didn't chase. He simply shut his phone, swallowed the heartbreak, and filled the empty space with work. And life went on. Or so he told himself. 3 years later, Maya walked into a lawyer's office with shaky hands. Her aunt, the only family who truly loved her, had passed away and left a will. But there was a condition, a strange one. She must appear married to receive her inheritance. Not actually married, just legally recognized as married for 12 months. A technical loophole her aunt created to keep greedy relatives away. Maya stared at the lawyer. "Married to who?" "Preferably someone from your past, someone believable, someone who won't expose that it's a contract." The lawyer paused. "Maya, your aunt suggested Daniel." Her heart dropped. Daniel, the man she left without explaining, the only man she ever loved and hurt. She shook her head. "He'll never help me." But the lawyer tapped the will gently. "He was her favorite too. She believed he would never refuse you." Maya walked out of the office feeling like life had circled back to punish her. Daniel Adewale did not expect to see Maya ever again. Definitely not standing in front of his office reception with a small handbag, trembling like she was made of glass. He almost walked past her. Almost. "Daniel," she whispered. His chest tightened. 3 years, and her voice still found the part of him he thought he'd buried. Maya, just her name, no emotion, no welcome. They went into his office, the same office she once helped him decorate when he started his company. She explained the will, the condition, the 12-month marriage requirement. He listened silently. When she finally said, I need your help," Daniel leaned back in his chair and asked, "Why me?" Her voice broke. "Because you're the only person my aunt trusted, and the only man I've never been able to lie to." Silence stretched between them. Thick, old, familiar. Daniel finally said quietly, "You left without a word, Maya. Now you want me to pretend to be your husband?" Tears gathered in her eyes. "I know I don't deserve your help, but I'm begging you." For a moment he looked away, trying to protect his heart from a memory that still felt raw. But Daniel had always been the kind of man who couldn't watch someone drown, especially not her. He exhaled slowly. "1 year?" She nodded. "Fine," he said. "I'll do it." Maya let out a quiet breath of relief. But Daniel added one last line that told her this arrangement would not be simple. "But after this year, Maya, you and I are done forever." She froze, because deep down, she knew something neither of them was ready to admit. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning again. The lawyer slid the document across the polished mahogany table as if he were placing a bomb between them. 30-day, he said. Living together, public appearances together, a joint charity project, and a final evaluation to determine if the marriage, he paused, eyes shifting awkwardly between the two, is genuine. Maya and David sat opposite each other, stiff, distant, refusing to meet the one face they once couldn't live without. Maya signed first. Her hand didn't shake, but her heart did. David signed next, jaw tight, the pen almost breaking between his fingers. The lawyer cleared his throat. The conditions are strict. If either of you breaches the contract, the entire inheritance goes to charity. Maya nodded. David barely blinked. The moment they stepped outside the office, the sunlight felt too bright for the kind of darkness hovering between them. "We should set ground rules," Maya said. David gave a humorless laugh. "We're pretending to be married, Maya, not actually trying to fix anything." She flinched. The words landed exactly where he meant them to. A car came to pick them up. The same car they once used for late-night drives when life was simple, and love was the only thing they thought they'd ever need. Now they sat in silence, as far apart as the seats allowed. At the mansion, his late uncle's home where they were required to stay, the memories hit Maya first. Photographs of family gatherings, a piano she once touched, a garden they used to walk through. None of those memories included pain. All of the present did. Their first evening together was a disaster. David attempted polite conversation. Maya responded with short answers. Maya tried to discuss schedules. David nodded without really listening. Everything was cold, sharp, and unfinished, just like their breakup. Dinner was the breaking point. The chef served their old favorite, pepper chicken with jollof rice. Maya's fork froze halfway to her mouth. "Did you tell him to make this?" she asked quietly. David looked confused. "No, I didn't." "Then someone still remembers," she muttered, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. David watched her for a long moment, the way she hid behind bravery, the way she held her emotions like fragile glass. He used to know how to read her heartbeat. Now he couldn't even interpret her silence. Later that night, they rehearsed for the first public appearance, a charity launch they had to attend together. "We need to hold hands," Maya said without looking at him. David hesitated. "We don't need to pretend that hard." "Yes," she cut in, "we do." She reached out first. Their hands touched. A spark, a memory, a wound reopening. David pulled back gently, like touching her burned him. Maya looked away, pretending it meant nothing. When she went to bed in the guest room, she replayed the moment in her mind. The warmth, the familiarity, the ache. David stayed downstairs, staring at the contract, wondering if 30 days with her was punishment or closure. But neither of them knew the real twist. Someone was already plotting to expose them. Someone who wanted the inheritance even more. And someone who knew exactly what broke them in the past. The fake marriage had just begun, but the old secrets were already cracking through the walls. Daniel and Maya lasted 3 days in the mansion before the cracks began to show. On camera and in front of the lawyer, they held hands, smiled like people who hadn't once broken each other. Off camera, they barely looked in the same direction. The housekeeper noticed first. "Madam, your husband prefers the downstairs balcony, right?" Maya froze. Husband, a word she once prayed to hear, a word that now tasted like smoke. Daniel stepped in before she replied. "We like different spaces, that's all." But the housekeeper wasn't convinced, and neither were the cameras hidden everywhere in the mansion. The inheritance clause was strict. A believable marriage, public affection, shared routines, shared meals. Failure meant losing everything. So they tried. Breakfast together, a walk around the compound, a staged video call to greet Uncle. Daniel played along with a calm, carefully measured politeness. Maya tried to match his tone, but every moment reminded her of the night everything fell apart. The night she found the message on his phone. The night he said, "It's not what you think," but offered no explanation. The night she walked out before he could. Now here they were, sharing a dining table like strangers, with old memories glued to their faces. On the fourth night, while rehearsing how to answer, "How did you two meet?" the silence finally snapped. Daniel said, "We should use the real story. It's believable." Maya stiffened. "Which real story? The beginning or the ending?" He paused. "Maya, you know the truth isn't what you think it was." She laughs, small, tired, bitter. "Please, don't rewrite history because a will forced us into the same house." He swallowed. "You never let me explain." "You never gave me anything to explain," she fired back. The air thickened. He ran a hand over his face. "I didn't cheat on you." She blinked hard. Her heartbeat stumbled. "It wasn't like that," he continued. "Someone wanted us to break. Someone who—" "I'm not doing this," she cut in, standing up. "I came here for money, not for memories." But as she walked away, Daniel followed. Something he never used to do. "Maya, wait." She stopped in the hallway, arms crossed like armor. "You think I didn't fight for us?" he said. "You think I wanted you to leave?" Her voice cracked. "You didn't stop me." "Yes, I did." His voice echoed through the house. "I went to your house the next morning. Your mother said you didn't want to see me." Maya blinked, confused, shaken. "She told me you moved on," Daniel continued. "She told me to let you go." Maya felt her balance slipping. Her mother? Her own mother? Why? Before she could process it, the lawyer entered with a forced smile. "Good news. Tomorrow you'll have your first public test, a charity dinner, cameras, interviews, dancing together as a couple." Daniel and Maya turned slowly toward each other, dancing, holding each other, pretending nothing broke between them. The lawyer added, "Remember, one mistake, and the inheritance goes to the extended family waiting for you two to fail." Silence. Daniel held Maya's gaze, something soft and wounded behind his eyes. This wasn't just a fake marriage anymore. Something old was waking up. Something unresolved. Something dangerous to both their hearts. And tomorrow night, the whole world would watch them pretend to still belong to each other. The estate lawyer left the penthouse at noon, reminding them that the 30-day requirement still stood. A convincing marriage, no scandals, no separation, no lies that contradict your story. But the real problem wasn't the lawyer. It was the silence between them, not the angry silence, the wounded one. Maya cooked breakfast. Daniel set the table. But every movement felt rehearsed. Every smile looked borrowed. Every step around each other carried old memories that no one wanted to touch. That afternoon, they attended the charity gala required for the inheritance. Cameras flashed. Influencers whispered, "She's his ex?" They looked too comfortable. No, too tense. Maybe this marriage is real. Daniel placed a protective arm around Maya's waist. She didn't push it away, but her breath hitched in that familiar, dangerous way. Inside the hall, a woman approached them. Tall, confident, familiar. Amara. Maya froze. Daniel's ex-fling, the one that sabotaged their relationship years ago. The same woman who once told Maya, "You're holding him back." Daniel stiffened. "Amara, this isn't a good time." She smiled like someone who knew she was a storm in a quiet room. "Oh, come on, Danny. Aren't you going to introduce me to your wife?" Maya felt the words hit her chest like stones. Wife. The world's cruelest pretend title. Amara leaned in, voice low and poisonous. "So this is the girl you cried over? Interesting. Thought she would be taller." Daniel's jaw tensed. Stop. But Amara wasn't done. She touched Maya's arm lightly. Too lightly. You know he didn't leave you because he wanted to, right? Someone made sure he did. Maya blinked. What are you talking about? Daniel grabbed Maya's hand. We're leaving. But Amara dropped the bomb before they could walk away. Ask him who sent the anonymous message that ended your relationship. Ask him who lied that you were cheating. Ask him who benefited from your breakup. Maya's legs nearly buckled. Daniel pulled her outside as cameras swirled. They reached the empty hallway by the balcony. Quiet, golden, dangerous. Maya finally spoke, her voice trembling. You told me you left because you fell out of love, because we grew apart. Was that the truth? Daniel exhaled, long and defeated. I thought you knew by now. Nothing about that breakup was simple. Her eyes glistened. Daniel, did someone sabotage us? His silence was the answer. He took her hands gently. I wanted to tell you that night we signed the agreement, but you were already hurting. I didn't want to reopen wounds when we needed to work together. Who was it? She whispered. He looked away. Amara sent the message. A beat, but she wasn't acting alone. Maya stared at him, breath shaking. Daniel, who else? Daniel swallowed hard, voice cracking. My mother. Maya staggered back like the ground shifted beneath her. She thought you would distract me from the family company. She believed you weren't enough. She said love makes men soft. She did what she thought would protect me. Maya covered her mouth. Tears ran freely. And you let her? Her voice was breaking. You let her destroy us? Daniel stepped forward, but she stepped back. Maya, no, don't touch me. She wiped her face angrily. I lost months of sleep. I thought I wasn't good enough. I hated myself. And all this time, it wasn't me. It wasn't even us. It was your family. Daniel reached for her again anyway, gently, hopelessly. If I could rewrite everything, Maya, I would. All of it. But Maya wasn't listening anymore. She walked past him, whispering, 30 days or not, I don't know if my heart can survive this house a second time. The house felt different the moment they walked in. Too quiet. They were supposed to act married, hold hands at the door, smile at the staff, pretend they were two hearts that once beat in the same direction. But the silence between them was louder than any performance. Maya entered first, her eyes scanning walls painted with a life she was no longer part of. Daniel followed behind, watching her the way a man watches a dream he once lost and now fears touching. They were alone now. No cameras, no lawyers, no money at stake. Just two hearts beaten with history. He cleared his throat. Maya, are you hungry? I can make something. She laughed softly. You? Cook? Since when? He smiled, small, tired. Since I stopped having anyone to cook for me. That line hung in the air. Maya looked away quickly. She didn't want him to see the ache in her eyes. She didn't want to remember the man who used to wait for her outside her office with food and takeaway plates because she always forgot to eat. She didn't want those memories to feel alive again, but they were rising all around her, warm and dangerous. What happened to us, Daniel? She whispered. He didn't answer immediately. He walked to the window, hands in his pockets, the weight of 5 years sitting heavy in his shoulders. You left, he finally said. You walked out without giving me a chance to explain. Maya's voice broke. You didn't fight for me. Daniel turned sharply. I did fight, every single day. But someone kept telling me you didn't want to be found. She frowned. Who? He hesitated. Something dark flickered across his face. That's the part I still can't say. Not yet. Silence again. Then Daniel asked the question he'd buried for too long. Did you ever stop loving me? Her breath caught. Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. I didn't stop, she said quietly. I just stopped believing that loving you was enough. Those words shattered something inside him. He stepped closer, slowly, like she was a fragile truth he wasn't sure he deserved to hold. Maya, look at me. She tried, failed, then finally raised her eyes. You were enough. You were always enough. Her lips trembled. Then why did it all fall apart? Daniel swallowed hard. Because someone wanted it to fall apart, and I was stupid enough to let them. Maya felt the room shift. Her heartbeat stumbled. There was more, much more. But before she could ask, Daniel reached for her hand, hesitant, gentle, like he wasn't sure he had the right. She didn't pull away. Their fingers touched, their breath mixed, and for the first time in years, the world felt familiar. But the moment cracked when she whispered, Daniel, if we keep doing this, I'm afraid I'll fall again. He stepped even closer, voice low, steady. Maya, you didn't stop falling. You just learned how to land without me. A tear slid down her cheek. He wiped it gently with his thumb. Neither of them moved away. Neither of them spoke. It was the kind of silence only two people who loved deeply, lost deeply, could share. Then Daniel whispered the line that shifted everything. Before this inheritance nonsense, before the fake marriage, before the cameras, I need you to know something. She held her breath. He leaned in, barely a whisper away. I never stopped choosing you. Maya closed her eyes. The truth hit her chest like a wave, warm, painful, undeniable. But love wasn't the only thing that brought them back together. There was a secret, a betrayal, and a truth that would destroy the very foundation of everything they thought they knew. Daniel didn't sleep the night before the inheritance hearing, not because of the money. He had already made peace that he might lose it, but because of the one question his heart couldn't silence. If Maya walked out of his life again, would he survive it a second time? On the other side of the mansion, Maya sat curled at the foot of her bed, wide awake. Daniel's confession from the night before still echoed in her chest. I never stopped loving you. I just never knew how to fight for us. She touched her necklace, a necklace he gave her years ago, before everything fell apart. She kept it all this time, even through heartbreak, even through the lie that she had moved on. Morning came with a thunderstorm, as if the sky itself knew something heavy was about to break. They arrived at the lawyer's office together, but didn't touch, didn't speak. Every unspoken feeling floated between them like thick mist. Inside, Mr. Adiemi, the late uncle's lawyer, studied them carefully. You two look tired. We're fine, Daniel lied. Maya nodded without conviction. The lawyer opened the inheritance file. As you know, the condition was simple. Live together for 30 days as a married couple and demonstrate unity. I have been receiving reports, observing, waiting. Daniel held his breath. Maya's hands trembled. Then the lawyer closed the folder. I've made my decision. Silence. And then, you have proven yourselves. The estate is yours. For a moment, neither moved, neither celebrated. The words didn't land the way they expected, because the truth was bitter. Winning the inheritance didn't fix the wound between them. The lawyer excused himself, giving them the room. Daniel finally turned to her. Maya, we don't have to pretend anymore. She smiled sadly. Yeah, no more pretending. But it hurt. It hurt more than she imagined. He stepped closer. Tell me the truth. If the 30 days didn't force us together, would you have ever talked to me again? Her voice cracked. No, he flinched. Not because I didn't love you, she added quickly, but because I didn't know how to face the version of us that failed. Daniel swallowed the ache in his throat. Maya, I found out the truth about our breakup. Her eyes widened. Your friend, Tola, she told me you said you were done with me, that you met someone else. I believed her. I was angry, crushed. I walked away without asking you. Maya froze. Tola, she whispered. She told me you said you needed space, that you were tired. Daniel's chest tightened. She lied to both of us. Maya staggered backward, gripping a chair. She destroyed us. No, Daniel whispered, stepping closer. We destroyed us by not fighting. We let one lie end what we should have protected. Her tears fell freely. Daniel reached out, but stopped inches from her cheek. Maya, after everything, we can walk away today as two matured adults. Or, his voice softened, or we can start again. Her breathing hitched. You still want me, after all the hurt? I never stopped wanting the girl who still believed in us when the world didn't, he replied. The girl who stayed even when I didn't know how to love properly. The thunder rumbled above them. Maya stepped into his chest slowly, carefully, like someone returning home after a long exile. Daniel wrapped his arms around her, finally allowing himself to exhale. We start small, she whispered. No pressure, no pretending, no lies. Only truth, he murmured into her hair. Only truth, she repeated. The camera would fade out slowly as they held each other. Two people who finally understood that love is not about perfect timing, but about choosing each other again after everything breaks. Maybe we were never meant to be perfect, just meant to find our way back. The end.